a week. And we've been waiting around anxiously to see what's going to happen with Christian Wood, what's going to happen with the 15th roster spot, what's happening with our two-ways, what is going to happen with the Lakers. And we got some news that the Lakers have officially signed Alex Fudge to a two-way agreement, a two-way deal. This is something I talked about literally like 2 days ago. I made a video how I thought that they were going to let go of Cole Swider and sign Alex Fudge to that two-way deal. And that's exactly what happened. So Cole Swider is officially off a two-way. Now, that doesn't mean that the Lakers have lost him, right? Like, he could still stay with the Lakers, but what it means is that he's available. So if a team wants to bring him on a two-way, or a team wants to sign him or do whatever, then the Lakers could lose Cole Swider. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I talked about this in that video. Cole Swider really disappointed me. I was somebody that was super pumped, super hyped, just like, I thought Cole Swider had the potential to be somebody, and he still might one day, right? But he's 24, 25 years old. He had no improvements between last year and this year. And I'm not saying you needed the Max Christie jump, right? Max Christie went from like being like, okay, like this is a kid with potential to like this could be our starting shooting guard this year. Like, he is incredible. But you can make an argument Cole Swider got worse between last year and this year. He's not very good. He's never going to be a good defensive player. I mean, he's like 255th in the G League, something crazy like that. Like, he's terrible in the G League, and he's a really good shooter. Doesn't move his feet well, doesn't do anything else well. He looked lost out there at times in this summer league. He might as well be 5'9" rather than 6'9". Like, I was looking at him as like, okay, at worst, he's hopefully like the Lakers' Duncan Robinson. And he's not even that. Like, he is a guy that if you just want a specialist on the end of your bench, right, just for moments, then I think Cole Swider would be perfect. But, I mean, the way Cole Swider looked, it looks like he's at least another 2-3 years away from being a quality, like, maybe rotation player. And at that point, he's 27, maybe 28. You know, by the time he's ready for that role, like, you get a good, like, 5 years out of him, where you could take that same time and develop a guy like Alex Fudge, and in 3 years, he would be 23, and you have him for the next 12 years, right? It's just, it's to me, it's a no-brainer, right? Alex Fudge has a lot of potential. The thing that I talked about in the video that it was compared to was that he could end up being our Jared Vanderbilt 2.0. Not saying that he's going to be as elite defensively as Jared Vanderbilt, but he does have a lot of the same tools and intangibles, and he is a little better in some aspects than Jared Vanderbilt was coming in, right? And Jared Vanderbilt also just kind of emerged into this guy the last like 2 years, and he just turned 24. So it's not that far-fetched of a comparison. Both got same size, 6'9", and Alex Fudge really kind of, he showcased a lot, right? But now we have our 3 two-way players locked up, and I love all 3 of them. Now, we got Colin Castleton, who I really believe could be our starting center of the future. Like, legit could be our starting center of the future. Like, he's probably a couple years away, right? 2-3 years, but I think he's a guy that could have an impact now. Like, if you brought him in as like our third big, and you played him, I would be totally okay with it. You're not going to play him heavy minutes or anything like that, but I do see him sort of working his way into, at worst, I think he's our first big off the bench. Like, I could see him kind of being the backup center on this Lakers roster, or even like I said, the starting center with AD at the 4 or something like that. Now, if AD stays with the Lakers long term, which is probably going to happen, then Colin Castleton will more likely than not be the backup center, because I think our front court of the future will be Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. But if our future, second unit backcourt is like Cam Reddish, Colin Castleton, and like Alex Fudge, and then like Maxwell Lewis, right? Like I don't know, it's pretty solid to me. It's pretty solid to me. But nonetheless, we got, like I said, Colin Castleton. We also have Demoy Hodge, basically KCP 2.0. And he's a guy that I think you could actually bring up and have him play. But I do kind of like the idea of keeping them on a two-way, because you can still have them play like 56 games or whatever it is, which, that's you're not going to play them more than that anyway, especially with all the talent and depth on this roster. And then on top of that, like, you're just looking for him in like little spots. And if you do have somebody on the buyout market or something, you don't want to end up being in a position where you can't get that guy, or you end up having to waive Demoy or something. So keep these two on a two-way. I really like that. You can get them some run. You can get them some burn. I think these two are two guys that could come in and have an impact right now. I don't think that they will very much, but I think that they could. Like, if the Lakers needed them, I really believe that you could put in Castleton and Hodge, and they could, again, have some level of impact. I'm not saying that they're going to be 30-minute-a-game guys, or they're going to be guys that are going off for 40 or something. Like, no, but I mean, like, as just rotation guys, like, whatever, for a night or two, you can put them in a game, and they can hold their own, and they'll be fine. That's what I think from these two. But obviously, the guy that the Lakers actually signed, and Alex Fudge, he's a guy that I think is definitely a project, right? He was very raw, and we saw that in Summer League. He had games and moments where he looked rough, right? But he had games and moments where he really stood out, and he was great defensively, and he was rebounding hard, and he was getting to the basket. He was creating his own shot. Like, he doesn't have a bad looking shot, and he's actually able to create for himself a bit, right? Like, that's nice. Jared Vanderbilt even still struggles with that at times. Putting the ball on the deck and just like going and creating, beating guys off dribble and stuff. Not saying that he's never done that or he can't, but he does it. He's not very fluid with it. Where Alex Fudge looked pretty fluid out there with it. There was times where he had the ball at like the top of the key and would just like cross his dude up and just get to the basket. He definitely, again, needs to work on his shooting primarily, but he's got good size. 6'9". He's got a 7-foot wingspan, so he's got good length, and I really think he could be, like I said, at worst, a Jared Vanderbilt, which I don't think it hurts to have two of them on the court. I don't know if he's ever going to be as elite of a defensive, like Jared Vanderbilt, you can make the argument, is like top 5 defensively in the league as far as like one-on-one individual defenders, right? Like, he's really good. And, like, he has the stats and numbers to back it up. So it would be tough for anybody to reach that standard and to be that. But Alex Fudge was pretty good out there when he was locked in. Like, the promise is there. And he's got the length, and he's got the size, he's got the foot speed, he's got the athleticism. He's got all the same tools, right? Like, if you were watching Summer League, he looked like a Jared Vanderbilt out there. And that's why I really like that comparison. And, and again, like, we love Jared Vanderbilt, but outside of his defense, it's not like he's this, like, superstar player. It's not like Jared Vanderbilt is, like, completely unachievable, right? It's not like he's just this, like, man, he is all-star. Like, no, right now, Jared Vanderbilt is a very good defensive guy and a liability on offense. Now, he's working his tail off to not be a liability on the offensive end. And I hope this year we see Jared Vanderbilt improve in that department and no longer becomes a liability. So, but even if he does, like, let's say he does become a reliable shooter and all that stuff. Well, again, like, that doesn't mean that Alex Fudge can't do the same thing, right? So, Alex Fudge, 20 years old. Jared Vanderbilt's 20, just turned, 24? So, he has a long way to go. You have 2 or 3 years of development for this kid, and then allow him to kind of mature and grow into the player that you want him to grow into. And I could see that. Even if he's like half of what Jared Vanderbilt is on the defensive side and can just develop an offensive game, then in a backup role, That's perfect. Imagine you need to take Jared Vanderbilt out. He's exhausted. He's been playing 25 minutes, guarding, Kyrie or whatever, chasing him around, or Steph or something like that. And you could just go, all right, well, don't worry. Just put Jared Vanderbilt 2.0 on him. Like, imagine, like, how tiring it would be for all these teams, like, all these players, if, like, you're being just clamped by Jared Vanderbilt, and then now you're getting clamped by Alex Fudge. Good luck. Good luck. It's hilarious. But, nonetheless, I'm excited for Fudge. I saw this coming, just watching him through the summer league and seeing how well he performed. I was like, this is the guy that the Lakers were really high on. The Lakers worked him out on several occasions. This was a guy that the Lakers were high on coming in. And then when you saw Cole Swider play the way that he played, it was, the writing was on the wall. Right? It was like, okay, this dude he's gone, and Alex Fudge is going to be the guy to kind of take in the spot. And I'm all for it. I'm glad that the Lakers were able to sign Fudge to a two-way, and I really like our two-way spots. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of the signing? What do you think of him on a two-way? Do you love it? Do you not? How do you feel? Love to hear it. Let me know.